Okay, it's time for a real estate market update in Northeast Florida. So we're summer of 2025. Let's take a look at where we are and where we're headed. And I've seen a lot of the sky is falling type news about the Florida real estate market of recent. And for the most part, if anybody's trying to predict the future or saying that they can predict the future for a real estate market crash, I wouldn't trust that. They don't have a crystal ball, or at least not one that's functioning. And if they really could predict the future, I would imagine they would spend their time in much more profitable places than recording videos on the Florida real estate market. So all of that said, in Northeast Florida, and when I say Northeast Florida, I mean Duval, Clay, St. Johns, and Nassau counties, here's where we are. So median sales price right at $370, and this is for July of 2025. And when we compare that to July of last year, that number is 2.7% lower than it was the same month last year. So lower for sure. We have seen prices come down a bit. It's good news for buyers, not as much funds for sellers. But in the grand scheme of things, when you look at this chart dating back to 2017, as long as you bought after 2022, you still, by the averages or by the median price tracker here, have equity in your house. So that said, let's take a look at some more forward-looking data points. Okay, we're going to check active inventory here, or the number of listings in our marketplace, versus the number of transactions coming together in a given week. And we'll call that one new pending sales. We'll look at that next. So we can see how the trend changed from falling inventory at the end of 2024 to quickly climbing, or more listings coming on the market in 2025. And really that relationship between the number of homes available for sale and the number of people buying them is what has put pressure on prices and why we've seen prices come down a little bit in the last 12 months. So you can see we're at 10,600 listings and some change today. This time last year it was just shy of 9,800 listings, and that's about an 8% difference. So a difference certainly not astronomical. And for pending sales, this is the one where when we see this declining and active listings going up, then we've got a problem for future prices, because we know that too much available inventory and not enough people buying that inventory will ultimately result in prices coming down. So you can see where in the summertime, mid-July, it was kind of bouncing around in that same mid-200s per week pending sales number. Again, 4 counties, Duval, Clay, St. Johns, Nassau. And then it started to do a little bit of a dip at the end of the summer, getting into August, but we've seen it bounce back up here in the last week or two, and hopefully that trend continues into the fall, and we see, from a real estate perspective, a more active fall buying environment than normal. And I think that that will be the case. Throwing crystal ball statements into the mix here, I'll throw one in. I think a lot of people have been sitting on the sideline wondering what's going to happen to the economy, wondering what's going to happen with rates. So we sit August 2025. Jerome Powell, the chair of the Fed, has made statements making people think that the Fed will make an adjustment to the Fed funds rate in September. We'll see if that happens. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But if you're buying a home, selling a home, that may or may not matter, because mortgage interest rates, and let's look at that now, mortgage interest rates don't move with the Fed funds rate directly. They're more directly tied, and the why behind this is a video for another day, but they're more directly tied to the 10-year Treasury. So, and the green dots are 30-year average mortgage interest rates over time, and the blue line is the 10-year Treasury. So, if you're thinking about buying a home or wondering what's going to happen with buyers because you might be selling, this, the 10-year Treasury, is actually the chart that you would want to be paying more attention to. And so, keep an eye on this one for mortgage interest rates, not necessarily any cuts the Fed makes to the Fed funds rate, but if the Fed does decide to change or make a cut to the Fed funds rate, that does typically give people a warm and fuzzy feeling about the economy and it may give buyers more confidence moving forward, and they may be more likely to go make a purchase that they have been putting on the back burner for a period of time this summer. So as mentioned, last but not least for charts, this is the United States MBA mortgage application data over time, and the bar chart is just showing each week whether compared to the previous week the number of people applying for the mortgage went up, blue line, or down, yellow line. And so you can kind of see the trend over time. And my bet is we'll start to see some of these people who in the last 3 months, 6 months have been making mortgage applications, because that data exists. It shows us that the people are there, but those aren't really translating into pending sales, at least not in our market, fully and completely, which means people are sitting on the sidelines, which I think means come the fall of 2025, we'll see some more buying activity. So those are the numbers. If you have any questions about buying, by all means, feel free to reach out.